What's going on, everybody? It's your boy, the ITP Paladin here. So, I feel like this is one of those generic videos. No, I've been out of it for a few days already. I just actually had a dental surgery for a wisdom tooth. I've been on heavy drugs, and I've also been in a kind of a deep funk where I didn't want to actually stream or anything. I was also in pain, so that didn't actually help. So I actually did miss this little bit. And quite honestly, this is something that's actually kind of pissed me off enough to make a video about. And truth be told, like, I know that there's really not much that I can do about it, but I would like to at least put my opinion out there, because I know that a majority, and I actually say this with the utmost confidence, that a majority of people are not happy about this, because it basically shows that Blizzard is not listening to their player base. So I'm actually just going to quickly shift that down. God, I love the special effects. Okay, so to give a quick summary before I read is basically that there were the lawsuits on sexual allegations against Blizzard, specifically employees committing these heinous acts, if you will, against their female employees or employees of minority. I don't know the full, like. I'm trying to think of the word right now. Again, I just put the baby to bed, so I'm still kind of getting off meds and my mind's not all here. It's enough here to make the video, thankfully. I don't know what terminology they used in particular off the top of my head, but I do know that obviously it was targeted towards the female employees that were basically being abused in the workplace. And before I even continue reading this, I am going to quickly note this. The lawsuit was well warranted. There was no argument from me whether or not this lawsuit needed to actually happen. There's no argument as to what the repercussions were. I honestly believe in equality in the workplace, but I also believe that there needs to be a sense of logic. Like, this is not logical at all. Like, the previous thing, like firing those employees, yes, that is completely logical. Everything else, again, you have to take it as is. So, you know, for each individual, like, it was like the protests. The protests were stupid as fuck. The protests were, like, honestly unwarranted from the player base. Like, oh, show our support of the game. Hey, asshole, you're literally damaging the game that you claim to love. Like, you're hurting the developers because you're killing off a game which would ultimately lead to more harm than good to the developer's side. They're already taking action. The developers are already doing what they're doing because they're the ones who are directly affected by it, not the player base. You are not helping by not playing the game. You are not helping by playing the game. You're literally not helping no matter what you do. Shut the fuck up, is what my mentality was. Now we come over to this, and this is honestly the dumbest shit I've ever read, and I put this on the Twitter response, so I'm just going to give it a quick read over now. We built the Overwatch universe around the idea that inclusivity, equality, and hope are the building blocks to a better future. They are central to the game and to the Overwatch team. Okay, good premise, good start. You're right. Inclusivity, I can't freaking read that word. Just pretend I didn't screw that up like 5 times already. Equity? I thought that was equality. But same difference. They are central to the game and to the Overwatch team. I actually do agree with that. There is an establishment in the story that hope is supposed to be. It's kind of like, I don't think they do the hope portion right, but there is inclusivity with the diversity of the characters, the different races that are portrayed, like Indian through Symmetra, Swedish. God, I can't believe I'm already drawing a blank on this. German, Central American, so on and so forth. I'm not even going to continue with that. Again, I'm still on drugs, so don't mind me. So there is no argument when it comes to this about the diversity that they have in the game, and honestly, I'm okay with it. I really am okay with it. What I'm not okay with is what follows afterwards. As we continue to discuss how we best live up to our values and to demonstrate our commitment to creating a game that reflects them, we believe it's necessary to change the name of our hero, currently known as McCree, to something that better represents what Overwatch stands for. I don't have an argument to this statement so much as questions like, okay, but why though? Let me read on. In fact, I'll move the camera back up. We realize that any change to such a well-loved and central hero to the game's fiction will take time to roll out correctly, and we'll share updates as this work in progress. In the near term, we had planned to kick off a narrative arc in September supported by the news story and game content on which McCree was a key part. Since we want to integrate the change into that story arc, we will be delaying the new arc until later this year and instead launch a new free-for-all map this September. Going forward, in-game characters will no longer be named after real employees, and we will be more thoughtful and discerning about adding real-world references in future Overwatch content. Okay, so off the bat I can mention the first argument is that I never knew that this guy existed. He was part of the allegations, a guy named Jesse McCree, who the character was named after. I see where they're getting at, and from a technical standpoint, from a business perspective, I used to work retail, so I completely understand, like, you know, the higher ups end of things. Whenever they described it to me, it was like, you know, you have to reflect it. And I understand completely when it comes to, oh, you know, we want to make sure that we're reflecting the proper things. This does not seem like that same thing. So you have an employee that committed a crime. You take that. The thing is, I don't even know where to begin with this, because it's just so fucking stupid. For 5 years, you've established the name McCree. For 5 years, I did not once, as a player to the game, think, I wonder who he's named after. No, it did not occur to me. I didn't care enough to look into the game. I didn't care who the voice actors were. I didn't care about anything, and that's all for the deep fans, I guess. But this is like the dumbest shit and solution. Like, there are plenty of solutions to problems, and this is like, this is not a solution. This is a band-aid over a bigger problem. And the bigger problem is that you're not listening to your community to the extent of actually fixing your game properly the way people want the game to be. So let me start off with saying, McCree's name change, I can again see the point, the perspective that they're coming from, where it's like a business standpoint. They don't want to reflect the negative backlash that they got from the lawsuit, and they want to be able to, you know, move forward without, you know, that being a constant reminder. Totally understandable. Again, I get it. But you've already established it. And nobody in their right mind, and I say this with utmost certainty, that nobody in their right mind looks at Jesse McCree and thinks, oh, the Overwatch developer in whom the character's name. No, they think Jesse McCree, the character in the game. Period. There's no ifs, ands, or buts after that. There is literally Jesse McCree, the cowboy. So you're going to fucking change his name after having it established throughout your merchandise, your game, your lore, literally everything. Like, I have a pop figure of the guy because I tried mastering Hitscan, and I was like, you know what, I want to do that because McCree's an awesome character. I actually like that, so I got a pop figure. So his name is fucking McCree on there. I'm never going to stop referring to him as McCree, and I've seen a couple of funny posts, which I would like to share on stream, but I'm not going to right now. But, like, why change his name? Why? Like, what is the point of changing? Like, first off, that does nothing. I already don't think about the guy. I don't need to, like, changing his name just puts emphasis on the guy by showing that you're concentrating on the negative feedback rather than the positive outcome. Like, Jesse McCree, I remember him for the cowboy character in Overwatch. I don't fucking care about the developer. If you fired him, you fired him. Who fucking cares? I don't. The thing I care about is that you're obviously not listening to your fucking player base. I enjoy this game for what it is. I enjoy playing it, and there's a few stands that I'll take, obviously, when it comes to certain things, but I also understand that as a player, I don't affect the game individually by myself. It has to be a group mentality, and unfortunately, not all answers can be answered through both individual or group mentality, and this is not one of them. So they say they're going to change his name. They're going to push back a new arc, which basically means that they're stopping the lore to change a character's name, which is the dumbest shit I have ever heard. And then to top it all off, oh, we're just going to put in a new free-for-all map. Who the fuck is asking for these free-for-all maps? I haven't wanted a free-for-all. I wanted a normal map. I play the normal modes. I get that there's people who play the free-for-all modes and everything, but that's not the core game. The core game has literally been ignored this entire time. And then the time that you're going to work on the core, you decide to literally abandon the player bit. I'm just going to emphasize this in a short point. Changing the character's name is useless. Continue with the story arc and leave the character's name alone. And don't give us a free-for-all map. Like, if you're going to add content, like the skins and everything, that's fine. But you've literally ignored the game in place of Overwatch 2. And I am all on board with them putting efforts into Overwatch 2 to make sure it's a good game, under the pretenses that they don't completely abandon the core game until they've gotten there. And this is just showing that their mindset is so far up their own asses that they don't know what they're doing anymore. If the proof was needed, and this is a separate subject, so I won't go into it too much, but I will just quickly glaze over it, is basically that you want to see how little they care about their current game right now? Look at the fact that they're going to change the 6v6 thing that they've had for 5 years to a 5v5 because they don't know how to balance their tanks. Yes, that is hands down exactly what they don't know how to balance the game anymore. It is too, like, honestly, this came actually from a top 500, and I watched his video. I'll share him down below. His name is Borium. He no longer plays Overwatch, and primarily for the same reason that I won't play Call of Duty anymore, or stream it rather. The reason being is, like, the developers obviously don't care, and it's become stale to the point where they haven't actually added anything of value. Now, I personally enjoy Overwatch more than I enjoy Call of Duty, and I understand that Call of Duty's getting updates and everything, but when it comes to Overwatch, they're not doing that. But I'm currently enjoying Overwatch more than I'm enjoying Call of Duty, so I'll be playing that. But the thing is like, they don't, like, if anybody knows in their right mind that tanks are extremely powerful, they would know that balancing out the tanks, like, here's the thing. Does anybody know why GOATs exist? GOATs existed because the tanks were so powerful and the DPS were so squishy. It's a better explanation coming from him as to why GOATs existed, but the emphasis on this is that the development team doesn't know how to properly balance a tank. That if they make the tank too weak, everybody will play damage. And if they make damage too powerful, nobody will play tank. Nobody will play support. It's a balance that they have to do, and that's why Roll Q was invented. All in all is that the development team doesn't know what they're fucking doing. And this is even more proof, not only through Overwatch 2's development, but what they're doing with McCree. They're focusing on the wrong things because of impulse and the vocal minority that's like, oh, I'm so traumatized. I'm so traumatized about McCree. Like, no, you're a piece of shit. You're a piece of shit. Your opinion doesn't matter. You're being vocal for no reason. You weren't directly affected by this, and there's no reason why you should be. Moving on to the last statement. This will help reinforce that we're building a fictional universe that is unmistakably different from the real world and better illustrates that the creation of Overwatch is truly a team effort. You have not shown that. You have not shown that. You have shown that it is not a team effort. It is literally about who pays your bills. But, whatever. You got to make money somehow, right? Work on these updates is underway, and they're just part of our ongoing commitment to honest reflection and making whatever changes necessary to build a future worth fighting for. If that was the case, you would leave the character alone. It's counterintuitive. That's literally counterintuitive. You're under honest reflection. I can see that. Changes necessary to build a future worth fighting. No, that is not a necessary change. McCree is not changing McCree's name is not a necessary change. Keeping your core game alive is a necessary change. And you're obviously not doing the things worth changing. Lastly in here, we know that actions speak louder than words, and we hope to show our commitment to making Overwatch a better experience in-game and continue to make our team the best it can be, the Overwatch team. That last statement's bullshit. I worked business. I can read bullshit. That's bullshit. That's bullshit. It's completely bullshit. You're not convincing me. You're not. Nope. Nope. Not buying it. If they do change McCree's name, I doubt I'm going to stop playing the game. I do enjoy the game as for what it is, and I do want to see this game succeed. The problem here is that I've literally lost faith in their ability to balance the game, and the only real way that it's going to get me to stop playing is if they fuck up the game so badly that it is unplayable. And I think that they're on their way there. And I don't know at this point if I'm going to invest in Overwatch 2. I'm going to wait for actual streamers to like give their honest review, like the top tier, like top 500 players that, you know, left Overwatch initially because it's not a good game anymore or whatever bullshit. The point I'm getting across here is like this is bullshit. This is a completely bullshit statement, and nobody on a majority of the player base in their right minds cares about McCree's namesake to the point where it needs to be addressed. Like, we weren't... Like, it doesn't matter what I say. The truth of the matter is, like, it doesn't matter what I say, what I do, anything of the sort. They're going to change the name regardless of what I say, regardless of what the community says. The backlash is not going to kick off enough because nobody will care enough. This is not something worth arguing against because it doesn't matter what we say. We already know that the Overwatch dev team does not listen to the constructive feedback necessary to the game. They listen to a very minor portion of the base that they want to hear from and make the changes based off that. They nitpick, and it's obvious. It's been obvious for 5 years. And sometimes we've just had to put a little faith that, you know, some of these decisions were based off, like, analytical data that they picked up through the gameplay and all that. And honestly, this just shows that they've completely given up on actual reason for doing any changes and literally are wasting time. This is literally a time waster for both them and for the player base so that we can, you know, keep our eyes off of Overwatch 2's development. And I'm done. I'm done. Rant is pretty much over, but all in all, the summary of this is basically that this is just a waste of time. They should just release the story. They should not worry about McCree's namesake because, again, I don't think of the developer, I think of the character. And much like in a similar situation where, and I hate to bring this one up because honestly it has nothing to do with it, but a child should not suffer for the sins of a parent. Why does a character need to suffer for the sins? And I say this like loosely because I understand they're fictional characters, but the same principle applies. Like, why does the character need to pay the price for the person's namesake action? Like, McCree wasn't the one who committed those crimes. It was the freaking guy. You've already put him in a lawsuit. You've already probably fired the dude. Why? It's just the dumbest. I'm done. I literally am contributing nothing more to this argument, so I'm going to call it here. Overwatch. I don't know what other games to play. I might just become like a Mass Effect streamer at this point, but I'll figure something out. But all in all, thank you guys for watching. You know, I'll see you on stream. I can't continue. Have a good day, everybody.